Hello, my name is Dorian Sportsman, and today we are going to go over emerging technologies, more specifically robots, and we're going to look into the effects that they have on the workforce and on society as a whole, and we are going to decide whether they are good or bad. So first we'll go over a quick history of robots, and we'll define robots as just automated processes that can be really simple. And the earliest robots go back to the Greek times with the Antikythera, which was used to determine the position of the sun mechanically. During the Renaissance era, our technologies advanced even further, and Leonardo da Vinci actually made plans for a humanoid robot that some have actually built off those plans today. And the first mechanical calculators were also invented, and they could add and subtract quite accurately. In 1709, Jacques de Vaucanson invented the duck, which was a fully mechanical duck that could flap its wings, walk around, and it was way ahead of its time. It had over 400 moving parts in it, and it's still a mystery today how he was able to accomplish that. In the late 1800s to early 1900s, the Industrial Revolution saw the rise of automation through cotton mills and the first steam engines, which together these revolutionized transportation and industry alike, and humans became wage workers. Over the last 50 years or so, modern robots have become faster, they've become more efficient, they are more intelligent now than ever before, they can actually make decisions on their own, and most importantly, they become much more complex and consist of many different moving parts. So we'll now look at the different types of modern robots. So the first is manufacturing robots, and these have improved automation drastically. They can multitask, so they can do multiple things at once, and they record sensory data at the same time, so they know if there's any kind of issue with the product. Next, we have artificial intelligence, which takes the form of computers usually, and this is what allows robots to make decisions based on the data that they record, and this allows for the automation of much more complex tasks than that of basic manufacturing robots. Next up, we have sensory robots, and these robots not only record sensory data, but they also react to that data, and these robots are commonly used in household appliances, one of which is the robotic vacuum, which will turn away from walls and obstacles when it senses them. So why worry about these robots? Well, the Industrial Revolution showed us that robots lead to automated factories and many jobs being lost. And not only that, but the jobs that remain are now way more complex and require much more education. What's important is to look at the effects of the Industrial Revolution. It caused inequality to rise rapidly. Now many products were now being made by robots and by automation and not by humans. And humans now became expendable, meaning they were reliant on wages and they could be fired or hired at will. Further effects of the Industrial Revolution include an emphasis on education, since jobs now required high-level skills and innovation was now the centerpiece of society. Education is super important, and more specifically higher education, such as college degrees. In the modern era of robots that we now see today, robots are extremely complex. They require an immense amount of engineering and scientific knowledge, which you generally only get from college. And the artificial intelligence that we use requires extremely intricate computer science knowledge, which is not easy. So what's the problem with these modern robots? Well, education is extremely expensive, and many people cannot afford college. Also, college is extremely difficult, as most of you will know, and some people are simply incapable or struggle too much with college to actually go and get the education that is now required. Some other problems with the rise of these robots is that there is even more automation and even more jobs will disappear. More importantly, even more complex jobs will begin to disappear. Also, further inequality, because the people who own the robots will make all of the money, whereas the workers will be without work. There are some ways to mitigate this damage that new technologies pose to us. This can take the form of policy changes and government intervention, as well as societal changes. We can emphasize different facets of life that haven't seen much light in recent times. Education is key to ensuring that we have a healthy workforce. Now, free higher education would encourage more college graduates, and since the workforce must be educated to succeed in this new world, we must give free education to those who need it. Another way to mitigate this damage is through direct government intervention. The government can create more jobs through infrastructure activities such as building roads, highways, bridges, and also through community improvement activities in terms of cleanups and helping the homeless in various cities. The increased rise in automation will allow humans to refocus on the arts. Since few products are now handmade, humans can put their focus on individual expression. They'll have more time to think and reflect, and this will allow us to focus more on the artistic capabilities of our citizens. In conclusion, robots are good. They will allow more leisure time for humans, thus less stress. Government policy will ensure that humans still have work and will still have ways of making money. And new technologies usually tend to create new types of jobs, as we saw with the Industrial Revolution, and we'll surely see in the future.